Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to this edition of ACTV College Baseball. It's Couch Day here at Nicolay Field, and it's the Albion Britons taking on your Adrian College Bulldogs. Robbie Alexander here, joined by my colleague, as always, Cody Alexander. And Cody, the Bulldogs have a nice fresh ranking next to their name now.
Yes, just came in the latest D3Baseball.com poll in the 25 slot, so that's their first ranking so far of the year. They've won 12 of their last 13 games, sitting atop the MIAA leaderboard, and they look to continue that success here today against the Albion Britons, who have had a little bit of a tough season so far, 5-9 in conference, 7-19 overall.
The Bulldogs have their ace on the mound here for game one. It's Tommy Parsons.
Parsons has just continued his dominant career in his senior year. He's started 7 games, has a 6-0 record, 54 innings pitched, 5 complete games, a 1.5 ERA, 62 strikeouts to only 4 walks. He's only given up 9 earned runs on the year.
We'll see if he can continue that dominance today against Albion. Once again, happy Couch Day, everybody. Game one, and it's center fielder Riley Stasiak who's going to step in. First pitch from Parsons. Here we go. In the dirt, Stasiak holds up on a close check swing, but it's ball one.
Stasiak, one of the better Briton hitters this year. He's hitting with a 364, 414, 598 slash line.
There's a nub off the bat of Stasiak. Wood takes a couple steps in and misjudges that ball. Stasiak is aboard with the leadoff single.
Yeah, just a tough break there. Might have knuckled, got it right off the end of the bat, like you said, Robbie. And a ball in the air, you never want to come in too soon, too quick, but that's exactly what Wood did.
That's going to bring up the Britons catcher, Jordan Finney. So Parsons will have to work from the stretch early this game. First pitch to Finney. Takes a strike at the knees, 0-1.
Finney was a second-team All-MIAA selection his freshman year, had a .301 batting average. His 40 RBI on the year was third in Albion single-season history.
Finney showing bunt. McMahon a few steps in, but instead he'll go with the pickoff move. Lining up defensively for the Bulldogs, we have Hunter Hayes at first, Brady Wood at second base, Justin McMahon at third, Sean O'Keefe manning shortstop today. Outfield from left to right, we have Rainey, Shearing, and Richardson. It's Frankie Resto calling signs behind the plates as that one misses outside for ball one. Stasiak gets his lead off of first, about 3 steps. 1-1 pitch from Parsons. Fouled back into the parking lot, 1-2.
Stasiak is 5 for 7 in stolen base attempts so far this year. But as we've seen in the last few home games that Parsons has pitched, he does have a nice pickoff move, so that's something the Britons will have to watch out for on the base paths.
And I think we've seen at least one a game from him so far this year. Another snap throw to first, close play, but just back in time is Stasiak. And Parsons, like we were just saying, almost had his first pickoff today.
Almost right on cue.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch to Finney. That one's up the gut and into center field for a base hit. Stasiak hits second. He will hold, and Britons have something cooking early here. Runners on first and second and nobody out.
Yeah, it looks like Parsons, these first 2 batters so far today, he's been working outside with the soft stuff. So we'll see if he stays with that game plan after he starts to go in with fastballs. But it looks like these Albion hitters are right on those breaking balls and changeups on the outside part of the plate.
Now digging into the batter's box, it's the pitcher Jack Wyman. And Cody, you played a couple games with Wyman in summer league games. What have you seen from him?
Well, he's definitely a power hitter. He's tied for first in the MIAA. He's already had 4 home runs so far this year.
He hits that one right back up the gut into O'Keefe's chest. He'll step on second for one. Relay. Nice stretch by Hayes, and it's a double play. Stasiak moves up to third, but a big double play for the Bulldogs, and there are now 2 outs in the top of the first.
Nice job by O'Keefe, able to body it up and didn't rush off the balance throw. He's able to stay in the bag, but also a nice job by O'Keefe with just staying with that ball and still having the presence of mind to go for 2. It looks like Coach Carden wants to argue that Hayes might have left the bag with his foot, but field umpire says that he was able to stay on.
It looked from up here that he was on the bag. Of course, we're probably a little biased, but I'll go with my call right there.
He's got that big 6'4" frame. He's got a lot of body length to work with.
Definitely a hopeful addition for the Bulldogs. So up now for Albion, it's going to be the first baseman, James Spilko. He'll take a strike to start his at-bat. That one skids in the turf, blocked by Resto, and the count's even at 1.
Spilko hitting .342 on the year so far. He's scored 12 times, driven in 7. He's tied for first on the team with 5 swipes so far.
He watches that one sail outside. It's 2-1. Balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Pitch from Parsons. Big swing and miss there as he went fishing but couldn't catch anything, and it's 2-2.
Looks like a changeup on that pitch that dropped right off the table.
Well, should Spilko keep the inning going, that'd bring up the second baseman, Kevin Juan. The 2-2. Fouled off towards the back 40, and count stays the same. A big swing and a miss there. He tosses him the chair. First of the game for Parsons. And Albion will leave that runner stranded on third. We head to the bottom of the first inning, still scoreless. Keep it tuned right here to Bulldog Baseball on ACTV. Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Bottom of the first inning, game number 1 of a doubleheader between the Albion Britons and the Adrian Bulldogs. Stepping in now for Adrian, it's their leadoff man, the center fielder, Zach Schering.
Schering having a solid junior year, has cooled off as of late, but hitting .337 on the year.
I'll take a strike at the knees to start his at-bat. Jack Wyman on the mound today for the Britons. 0-1 pitch. Bounces in the turf, 1-1.
Wyman has not had as much success on the bump as he has had at the plate. Currently an 0-5 record in 34 innings pitched. He has a 5.82 ERA, 27 strikeouts to 7 walks.
Check swing there by Schering, and he holds up in time, 2-1.
Schering tied for first in the MIAA with 24 runs scored.
Interesting move by the Britons. You don't often see the pitcher be in the batting order, let alone be the power hitter for the day.
That's what you call a two-way player.
We'll see if it pays dividends for the Britons today. The 2-2 pitch to Schering. Big swing and a miss. The Britons get a quick out there. 1 up, 1 down. So it's going to bring up the left fielder, Gunnar Rainey. First offering. Big cut there on that off-speed outside. It's 0-1.
Rainey's heated up as of late. He's currently hitting .277. Moved up and down the order in the Calvin series. Finds himself back in the 2-hole.
Father Coach Rainey probably trying to shake things up a little bit. Making sure he figures out what the best possible lineup is before they hit the playoffs in a month. And fouled back out of play. It's 1-2 on Rainey. The 1-2. Down low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lining up defensively for the Britons. It's Finney calling the signs behind the plate. Spilko, Wong, Turnbull, and Dornwood making up the infield. The outfield left to right. It's Rydluski, Stasiak, and Burr finishing it off in right field. Three balls, 2 strikes on Gunnar Rainey. The pitch from Wyman. Ground ball over to second base, scooped up by Wong, and it's an easy out number 2 for the Britons. That walk-up song can only mean one thing. Right fielder Tristan Richardson up to bat. I'll take a first pitch strike at the knees, 0-1. Pitch from Wyman. A little bit of a submarine there, but it's going to miss low, 1-1.
Richardson started off the year batting in the 5 and 6 hole, but was moved up to the 3 hole back in the Calvin series last week. Currently hitting .317 on the year, has driven in 13 runs, scored 18 himself. 8 doubles, 1 triple. He also has 3 stolen bases.
And he'll be rung up on that curveball outside part of the plate, and the Bulldogs go down 1-2-3 to start their afternoon. To the top of the second inning, still scoreless. Keep it tuned right here to more MIAA baseball action here on ACTV. 5, 6, 7 due up for Albion to start the top of the second inning, starting with the second baseman, Kevin Wong. Tommy Parsons gets back to work. First pitch from Parsons. Fastball in there for strike one.
Wong batting .253 on the year. 22 hits and 87 at-bats.
Gets that flare into right center field. Richardson giving chase, but it's going to split both him and Schering. Roll all the way to the wall. Wong hits second, headed for third. Throw from Wood, not in time. It's a leadoff triple for Kevin Wong.
Not sure if I agree on the route there with Richardson, Not exactly a hard line drive, but wasn't a fly ball either. Probably would have been better off taking a deep route and trying to play it on a hop. Instead, it looks like he tried to make the catch in the air, and because it was a straight-on route, gets right by him and rolls all the way to the wall.
For the second inning in a row, Tommy Parsons has to contend with a runner on third base, this time with nobody out. That's the Albion third baseman, Cameron Dornwood, is looking for the first RBI of the afternoon. First pitch from Parsons in there, outer half of the plate for strike one. Big cut there by Dornwood, and he's quickly in the hole now, 0-2.
Parsons still really working that outside part of the dish today.
Seems to be favoring it. Both him and Albion pitcher Jack Wyman working that right side of the rubber. Foot is barely on it. The 0-2, big swing and a miss there, and he'll toss him the chair for out number one. Still not out of danger yet, still only one out. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Colton Ridlewski. Coach Rainey moving his infielders in. Third baseman Justin McMahon playing on the edge of the grass. First pitch. Big cut there, 0-1. Blew that fastball by him.
Ridlewski, 7 hits in 35 at-bats so far this year.
Parsons gets his sign from Resto. Ridlewski shows bunt, but will foul it back to the netting, and he is quickly in the hole now, 0-2.
And Wong was off on the delivery, so that tells you that it was going to be a suicide squeeze and a do-or-die play at the plate if he was able to get it down in fair territory.
Instead, he will most likely be forced to swing away now. Payoff pitch in the turf, 1-2. Nice block there by Resto. One ball, 2 strikes. The pitch outside, 2-2. I think we talk about it every time Parsons is on the mound, but does a great job setting his own tempo for the game, and usually it's a bit of a slower one.
Especially with runners on. He has that quick pickoff move, but he also does a nice job of keeping them close to the bag just by varying his delivery times.
Almost got Redlewski there, but he'll hold up, and the count's now full 3-2. McMahon a shade back now. The 3-2 pitch. Big cut there, and he tosses in the chair, and there are now 2 outs. Second strikeout in a row for Parsons.
It's a nice hard fastball, still on the outside part of the plate.
That's going to bring up the shortstop, Joe Turnbull. He's trying to get a 2-out RBI here to give the Britons the early lead. He'll swing at that one in the turf, 0-1, not how he wants to start his at-bat. The 0-1, another big cut there on that off-speed low. Turnbull quickly in the hole, 0-2.
Junior is 13 for 85 so far this year. He's driven in 5 runs.
Payoff pitch. Just outside, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs. The pitch from Parsons. Fishing right there, but instead he comes up with the chair. So a leadoff triple by the Britons, but Parsons strikes out the side. And we'll head to the bottom of the second inning, still scoreless. 4-5-6 due up for the Bulldogs. Once you touch that clicker, we'll be right back with more college baseball on ACTV. Welcome back. Bottom of the second inning, still scoreless. As first baseman Hunter Hayes digging into the box. Swings at first speed. First pitch off speed for strike 1. One just misses, 1-1.
Hayes, one of the top hitters so far this year in the MIAA, leads the league with 28 RBI, tied for first with 24 runs. Also tied for first with 4 home runs, and is tied for second in slugging with a .590 slugging percentage.
Now watch that one, just hit the outer black. It's 2-2.
So hitting .340 on the year with 8 doubles, 2 triples, in addition to those 4 home runs. He leads the team with 36 hits.
I don't know if that ball ticked off the umpire, if it ticked off the catcher Finney, but somebody must have taken one because you don't see an umpire hand the ball right to the pitcher very often. Nonetheless, it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch from Wyman right back up the box. And it's a leadoff single for Hunter Hayes.
5 away from 100 as a Bulldog. 2 hits away.
A That single, Hunter Hayes now 5 hits away from number 100 as an Adrian College Bulldog. So runner on first now. Nobody out. That will bring up the second baseman, Brady Wood.
That's pretty impressive if you think about it. He's only played a year and a half with Adrian.
And we're in the latter part of the season right now, but there's still quite a few games to be played. Pickoff move. Hayes frozen just a little bit, but close enough to the bag to get back in time.
Well, with the season he's having, he might even get it by this second game, at least by the end of this series.
He'll definitely have plenty of opportunities today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch from Wyman in the turf, 2-1. A nice pick there by Finney.
These Adrian runners will have to be careful. Finney behind the dish, 10 for 24 in terms of throwing out base stealers.
And there's a line drive right into the glove of Wong. And Hayes gets picked off of first in return. It's a double play, and I don't know if he had much of a chance right there.
No, Hayes had the big secondary with his lead. No chance for him to get back to first base after Wong caught that sinking liner.
So the Britons catch a break right there. Now 2 outs, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Chad Paddock, who will take a strike, 0-1. Ball low, 1-1.
Paddock back in the lineup after taking a few starts off in the Calvin series, hitting .338 on the year with 17 RBI.
The 2-1 pitch from Wyman fouled back towards the pavilion on the right side, 2-2. Slight breeze blowing out to right field right now. That one in the turf and to the backstop. It's full count now, 3-2. The offering to Paddock. That one's a flare into right field, but foul. Right off of the yellow tubing on the right side.
Wyman, like Parsons, also favoring that outside part of the plate, but mixing in a lot more fastballs than his counterpart.
Three balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Big cut there, and Wyman strikes him out to end the inning. Continues to cruise through this game, and we'll head to the top of the 3rd inning, still scoreless. We'll be right back with more Bulldog baseball here on ACTV. That crowd out on the center field hill growing bigger and bigger as we continue through this game number 1 of the Saturday afternoon doubleheader between Albion and Adrian College. Right fielder Matt Burr stepping in to lead things off. I can see the campus safety cart patrolling around out there, making sure people on their very best behavior. Parsons starts Burr off with a curveball, 0-1.
Burr 4 hits in 21 at-bats so far this year. Scored 3, driven in 2.
We'll take a fastball on the outer half of the plate for strike 2. Payoff pitch to Burr. Manages to foul that fastball off, and he'll stay alive. Parsons doing a great job getting batters in the hole, 0-2 so far today, but then the Albion Britons doing a great job battling back, and we've seen a lot of them force full counts. As Burr takes a close one there, 1-2.
Yeah, first 2 hitters of the game, and Stasiak and Finney both got on base via the hit. We're able to hit a couple tough breaking balls on the outer part of the plate, but like you said, Robbie, putting together a nice string of at-bats.
That curveball misses outside, 2-2. It's the offering from Parsons. Ground ball foul. Burr turning this into quite the little battle. The 2-2. Blocked in the turf, and once again, a Britons batter works the count full. It's 3-2 on Matt Burr. Here's the pitch. High, almost ball 4. Instead, it's off the bat of Burr and will stay the same.
Started his hands a little too much, as that fastball looks like it ran in a little bit in the last 5 or 10 feet.
The 3-2. And he rings him up on the outer black. Burr thought he had ball 4, but instead he'll take a seat on the bench, and there's 1 out to start the top of the 3rd.
That is the 5th strikeout on the game for Parsons, and he's actually retired the last 5 batters via the strikeout, save for that triple by Wong to start off the 2nd.
We'll head back to the top of the Albion order. It's the center fielder, Riley Stasiak. He had that bloop single over the head of Brady Wood, his first at-bat. The 0-1 pitch from Parsons. Holds off on that curveball. It's 1-1.
Well, Parsons has 3 career starts against these Britons. He's got a 2-0 record. In 18 1/3 innings pitched, he's scattered 20 hits and 6 runs, 5 of those earned for a 2.95 ERA.
And that one's right down the left field line for a base hit, maybe even more. Stasiak takes a big turn to second, head first slide, and he is in with a 1-out double.
It's like another off-speed pitch on the outer part of the plate. But Stasiak able to get around the ball and just sneak it down that left field line. Uses his speed to motor right into second base.
4th hit of the afternoon for the Britons. 2nd one for Stasiak. And it's the catcher Jordan Finney now with a 1-out opportunity for an RBI. Pickoff moved to second. Stasiak back in time. Not often you see somebody get picked off of second base, but we've seen it from the Bulldogs, especially Parsons. So Britons will have to stay alive in this game. This is a big swing and a foul piece. It's 0-1. Finney 1 for 1 so far today. Singled his first time up. The 0-1. Curveball in there, past the glove of McMahon and into left field. Stasiak hits third, and he will hold up. Albion now has runners in the corners, still only 1 out. For the 3rd inning in a row, Parsons has to work his way out of a jam.
Yeah, it looked like McMahon almost had a chance at that ball, just missed it by inches. So that's 2 at-bats where the catcher Finney has had solid contact. That first at-bat solid up the middle, and that one into left field.
So up now is the pitcher Jack Wyman. Grounded into a double play his first time up. Bulldogs hope he does that once again. Pickoff throw to first, but not in time. First pitch to Wyman. Big cut there, 0-1. Parsons still keeping the game under his tempo. The 0-1. Finney off for second base. It's a fake throw. The Britons now have runners on second and third with only 1 out.
It looked like he slowed up about halfway there. I think he was trying to draw the throw from Resto. Possibly get into a rundown. See if Stasiak could sneak across a run.
Wyman in the hole now, 0-2. Payoff pitch from Parsons. And he rings him up looking on the outside corner for out number 2. So Britons once again in danger of leaving men on base. This first baseman James Spilko is looking to turn around that storyline.
Well, Parsons continues to pound that outside part of the plate. Really the only 2 hits that we've seen out there was the leadoff single by Stasiak in the first and then the triple by Wong. So if they want to crack the Parsons code today, they're definitely going to have to try to go the other way, especially if he continues to attack them with outside breaking balls.
You saw right there to start Spilko's at-bat. He's now down 0-1. It's another first pitch strike from Parsons. Another one, outer half of the plate. Spilko down in the hole, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Still scoreless here in game number 1. The pitch from Parsons. Fouled out of play, and Spilko stays alive. Parsons gets his sign from Resto. The 0-2. Let it go. And that's the home plate umpire. Mark Snyder will ring him up. 7th strikeout of the game for Parsons. The master carpenter continues to be dominant as he strands 2 more runners. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, still scoreless. We'll see if the Bulldog bats come alive. Keep it tuned right here to ACTV. Jack Wyman gets back to work. 7-8-9 due up for the Bulldogs, starting with the 3rd baseman, Justin McMahon. First pitch, fouled out of play back towards 223 for strike 1. Thornwood a few steps in over at 3rd base as that breaking ball doesn't snap off. It's high for ball 1.
McMahon 7 for 41 so far on the year. Has drawn 6 walks, 4 for 4 in stolen base attempts.
We'll see if he can get on base and start making some havoc. That one's a flare into left field. Riddle-Lewski giving chase. It'll end up in the Bulldog bullpen for a long strike 2. Two balls, 2 strikes on Justin McMahon. Pitch from Wyman. Rings him up at the knees for strike 3. The Bulldogs still cannot find a man on base. Their 7th straight batter to go down. And the 3rd strikeout of the afternoon for Wyman. So I'll bring up Frankie Resto. Looking for the Bulldogs' first hit of the afternoon, and he'll take ball 1 in the turf. There's a fly ball into right field. Burr, a few steps to his right, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. So Wyman continues to work quickly through this Adrian College lineup. It's now the shortstop Sean O'Keefe with his first crack of the ball game. Bender finds the inner black for strike 1.
Wyman's starting to mix it up a little more with his inside-outside locations.
Another one. This one goes outside. O'Keefe doesn't necessarily agree, but nonetheless, it's 0-2.
Bulldogs so far today have taken a lot of called strikes.
And he rings them up looking. O'Keefe not happy. Snyder does not care, though, as he is right on top of the call. 3rd straight inning, the Bulldogs go down in order. 5th strikeout for Wyman. We'll head to the top of the 4th inning, still scoreless as we're seeing the beginning of a pitching duel here. And Cody, I know you love those, so we'll see if it continues in the next inning. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Bulldog versus Britain baseball here on ACTV. Big breath from Tommy Parsons, and we are set to start the top of the 4th inning here in game number 1. Still scoreless. It's the second baseman, Kevin Wong, up to bat. He tripled to start the 2nd inning, for Albion would go down with 3 straight strikeouts. And that one, a ground ball to the shortstop. O'Keefe ranges to his right. It's a quick 1 pitch, 1 out for the Bulldogs. Up now is the 3rd baseman, Cameron Dornwood, victim of a strikeout his first time up. First pitch from Parsons. Finds the outer black for strike 1. Well, Cody, we can usually count how many people are out on the hill. I don't even think I'm going to attempt it today. So it's a sea of college students out there, which is a great sight to behold.
Not too rambunctious either, which I know is a good sight for athletic director Mike Duffy.
Makes his job a little easier. Here's the 1-1 pitch to a Dorn was fouled off. Oh, right on cue, Cody. They're starting to chant. They must have heard you.
I think a little noise out there would be nice.
It's still early in the afternoon. Come game 2, we might see a different storyline out there. That one just misses outside.
Well, at least it's a little warmer for them outside. I mean, think about if it was the weather that we've had pretty much up until last week. Then it would definitely be a little lighter of a crowd out there.
Yeah, Coach Rainey said that this has been one of the worst springs that he has ever been a part of. This is his 25th season at the helm of the Adrian College baseball program, so that tells you just how awful it has been.
Well, I've looked at the forecast again this morning, and knock on wood, but it looks like Mother Nature has finally put her winter coat in the closet.
We got to thank God from our producer, Nick Rizzo, as Parsons loses Dornwood. And a rare walk issued. Britons have a man on first with 1 out. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Colton Rydlewski. Struck out his first time up.
And Robbie said rare walk. He meant a rare walk. That was only the 5th base on balls by Parsons so far this year.
He throws a first pitch strike to Rydlewski, making sure that's not 2 straight walks in a row. The 0-1. Big cut there, but misses. It's 0-2.
Well, where the Bulldog hitters have taken a lot of pitches, the Britain hitters have swung at a lot of balls that seem like they're out of the strike zone, definitely do not end up in the strike zone. As we said, Parsons really working the outside part of the plate with a lot of good breaking balls, but not all of those have started off as strikes, so a good job by Dornward to draw the walk, and I think that's what the Britain hitters will have to do, stay a little more patient and make Parsons come to them.
Yeah, 5 hits on the day for Albion, but still a 0 in the runs category on the scoreboard. Here's the 0-2 from Parsons. Popped up on the infield, but that's going to find its way out of play. Dornwood gets his lead at first base. The 0-2 from Parsons. Big swing and a miss, and he'll toss another chair. There are now 2 outs here in the top of the 4th.
Market strikeout for Parsons. Didn't mean to cut you off, but nice. Looked like a changeup. A lot of late downward life on that pitch. And Rydlewski just swings right over the top of it.
Up now is the shortstop for Albion, Joe Turnbull. And much like his other teammates, a strikeout victim his first time up as Parsons pickoff throw over to first. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to count everybody on the hill between innings, and I'll get back to you.
I think it might take you more than one game action break to do that.
We'll make it happen. Take precision, speed, and grace, but it's what I do to get the viewers the facts that they deserve.
Now, I wonder if it was this big last year. We weren't able to broadcast this game. We were over at softball. But I know it was a decent turnout for that game.
Yeah, it was a little rambunctious. I remember looking over and seeing it.
Weather was a little nicer. I think it was mid-70s, pretty much cloudless that day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. All I'll say is I know Athletic Director Mike Duffy keeping a close eye on the hill after some of the events that unfolded last year. Here's the 0-2 from Parsons. Low, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
For those of you watching who don't know what Couch Day is, it's an Adrian baseball tradition. So this last week was the last week of actual classes. This upcoming week is exam week. So a lot of people have couches that they are going to get rid of. So instead of throwing them out right away, they haul them out to the hill and take in a couple of Bulldog baseball games.
It's a great tradition, bringing the students closer together. One last big hurrah before they either go off in their own direction for summer, or for some of them, they graduate and they're out of here. At least for the time being. They'll visit, and there's a big swing. He went fishing but can't connect. And Resto will throw on to Hayes to finish it. 9th strikeout for Parsons. Open up the carpentry shop, and we'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning. I'll get you those numbers on the hills, and we'll get you more baseball action on ACTV. back to the top of the Bulldog order to start the bottom of the 4th inning. Wyman strike at the knees to Schering to start his at-bat. Zach a strikeout victim his first time up. He'll foul that one off on the right side. Wyman only 1 hit given up. That was to Hayes to start the 2nd inning. The very next batter, Brady Woods, would line into a double play. So Jack Wyman has faced the bare minimum so far. Another one fouled back into the parking lot. I don't hear any car alarms going off. That's a good sign. Schering in the hole now, 0-2. It's ground ball down the third base line and fair for a base hit. Schering will take the turn. He'll hold up, and it's a leadoff single for the Bulldogs.
It's a good sign for Adrian hitters. It was a hard hit ball. Not able to sneak down the line, but Bulldogs have their leadoff hitter aboard here in the 3rd.
Rainey showing bunt, he'll pull back. Spilko racing in from first base to cover that bunt. Rainey showing bunt again, this time Dornwood breaking in as well as the first baseman. This one right back to Wyman. He'll go to first for the out, and a sacrifice bunt for Gunnar Rainey puts a runner on second with 1 out. Now is the right fielder, Tristan Richardson. Struck out looking his first time up. But for the first time today, Adrian College with a runner in scoring position. An RBI opportunity. First pitch from Wyman, outside, ball 1. The 1-0. Fouled out a play on the left side. It's 1-1. Well, I told you I'd get you the numbers of the fans out on the center field hill between innings. I have a rough estimate. I started counting, and then I kind of just started grouping people together. I'd say there's about 130 fans out there at the moment, give and take 20.
No, your math isn't the greatest.
This is true. I'm not great at math.
Are you positive about that one? Or
well,
I mean, there's a lot of people, don't get me wrong.
I may not be great at math, but I like to say that I'm at least decent at counting.
It's always a good skill to have.
I'll count one more time. There's 2 balls and 1 strike on Richardson with 1 out in the inning, and he'll send a fly ball into left field. Rydlewski giving chase towards the corner. He'll make the catch. Schering tags and will head to third base, and great awareness right there as the fly ball moves up the runner, and with 2 outs, Bulldogs have a man in scoring position. Potential first run of the game 90 feet away.
And that fly ball by Richardson just kept going. Rydlewski catching it almost up against the wall. I don't think he expected Schering to tag up with the ball hit to left field. Didn't get the throw off as quick as you would assume if he had an idea, but you always have to be alert out there and be proactive.
Almost an Oppo Taco home run from Richardson. We don't see those very often here at the Nick. Big swing and a miss on that ball in the turf, and it's the first baseman, Hunter Hayes, is down in the count now, 0-2. Payoff pitch from Wyman. Outside, 1-2. Bounces in the turf. Nice block by Finney. Will keep Schering at third base, and the count's even at 2 apiece.
Hunter was the position player of the week in the MIAA, for the last week. Posted a .714 slugging percentage with 3 home runs and 3 walks and 7 RBI.
And that one's a ground ball right to Turnbull for out number 3. So the Bulldogs get a man in scoring position but leave him on, and we'll head to the top of the 5th inning, still scoreless as the pitching matchup continues to stifle the hitters here. We'll be back with more MIAA baseball action here on your home for all Adrian College athletics. It's ACTV. Parsons gets back to work as the pitching battle continues, still scoreless as we head to the 5th inning here in game number 1. If you're just joining us, Robbie Alexander joined by my colleague Cody Alexander. What have you seen so far in this matchup?
I mean, a lot of zeros on the board. 2 hits for Adrian, 5 for Albion, but no runs have come across. Parsons going to his fastball a little more, but for most of this game, he's worked that outside part of the plate with curveballs and changeups. And a lot of swings and misses by Albion, whereas Wyman on the other side mixing his fastball inside and outside. And until last inning, a lot of takes by the Bulldog hitters.
A diving attempt there by O'Keefe, but right back up the middle. The leadoff man, Matt Burr, aboard with the single. Head back to the top of the Albion lineup. Starting with center fielder Riley Stasiak. 2 for 2 so far today. Singled his first time up. And last time up, he hit a double.
He needs a triple and a home run for the cycle.
I'm sure he'd enjoy that right there, as either of those would score the first run of the ball game. Once again, happy Couch Day to all the viewers out there. Hope you're enjoying your own festivities at home.
Hopefully you're sitting on your own couch. Didn't have to haul it out to the hill.
A little easier on the back.
And going back to that strikeout that ended the 4th, that was the 250th strikeout in Parsons' Adrian College career.
He's looking for more right here, as he'll fool him with that changeup. It's even at 1-1. Parsons, another snap throw to first, but not in time. Shows bunt, that's on the third base line. McMahon will take it and get the out at first base, but Stasiak does his job. Once again, Albion with a man in scoring position.
Nice bunt by Stasiak, puts it right where he needs to. Usually that you want to put it up the first base line with the runner on first, but regardless of where you put it, you don't want to hit it hard right back at the pitcher.
Up now with an RBI opportunity, it's the catcher Jordan Finney, also 2 for 2 so far today. He has 2 singles to his name. First pitch from Tommy Parsons, blown by him for strike 1. Parsons checks Burr at second base. Here's the pitch. High chopper. O'Keefe gets it on the pick. He'll take the out at first. Burr moves up to third base. First run of the game, potentially 90 feet away with 2 outs.
Nice play by O'Keefe, deciding to field it on the shorts hop, but able to make that pick.
So with 2 outs, it's the pitcher Jack Wyman trying to help his own cause. Currently 0 for 2. Ground into a double play his first time up. Struck out looking his last time. He'll take ball number 1 to start his third at-bat. There's the 1-0. Big cut there, 1-1.
Not the first time that Albion has had a runner on third today. Back in the second, Wong hit a leadoff triple, but Parsons came back to strike out the side and leave him stranded.
Oh, fastball will miss. It's 2-1. The 2-1 from Parsons. Swings at that one in the turf. It's 2-2.
Seen a lot of that from Albion hitters. Chasing curveballs. That one about a foot outside, but the big swing and miss by Wyman. Helping Parsons out a little bit on the mound there, expanding the zone.
I'll check for clarification just to make sure how many balls and strikes he has. Here's the 2-2. A big cut there. Another chair toss by Tommy Parsons. Make it number 10 on the day. And Albion still cannot score that first run of the game. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still scoreless. But instead of taking a break, we're going to start with a new segment since we have producer Nick Rizzo in the booth. And Cody, I'm going to give my headset to him, so why don't you explain what we're about to do?
So as we've said before, but for those of you who are tuning into our broadcast for the first time, our producer Nick Rizzo is actually the cousin of Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo. So Nick, how are we doing today?
All right, I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. A nice day for baseball.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Beautiful day for couch day.
Now, you are a hockey player, and you are a self-admitted person who doesn't know baseball. How much do you actually know about baseball?
I pretty much know what a ball and a strike is, and that's about it.
He knows enough to work this.
Yep.
All right. Well, do you know how your cousin's doing right now for his season?
I know you told me he just got off of IR. He's doing all right. He's had a couple of...
Well, in the MLB, it's actually called
Whatever.
the DL,
Okay,
the
same thing.
disabled
Yep.
list. Well, we're doing a new segment. It's called How the Heck is 44? 44 being Anthony Rizzo's number. As we head to the bottom of the 5th, Brady Wood steps in. But I'm going to give you, Nick, his stat line. Why don't you tell us what he's doing and what you think if it's good or if it's bad so far?
Well, he has 40, I believe that's ABB's at bat. He's a .150 batting average. Is that good? I don't think that's all right, right?
We usually read it as 150,
Yep,
but that's
sure.
that's not a great batting average, as Wood grounds that one to the third baseman, Dornward, who retires him at first base, one down.
Is that what is that, about average .150? Yeah?
I mean, if you're hitting 200, that's considered pretty bad.
Oh, all right.
But again, he had a stiff back to begin the year, so
It's got HR means 1 home run. I don't know what RBI run batted in,
And
right?
Yeah, that's
I don't know what an SB is on the next line there.
That's a stolen base. He's not the fleetest of foot, but he's a first baseman. You wouldn't expect that out of him. So reading his stats, would you say he's having a good year or a bad year as Paddock takes a big swing and a miss there?
Coming off of the whatever that was, DL, I think you said it was.
Disabled list, yes.
Sure. I mean, he's got to start somewhere, right? May not be the best, but he's got to climb his way up the ladder.
Yes. Well, I think you learned something here today, and that's what we want. So thank you, Nick, for joining us. That was our first segment of How the Heck is 44. And we'll put Robbie back on the play-by-play. Thank you again. He doesn't have the headset on, but that was pretty entertaining.
Always a good time with Nick Rizzo in the booth. His designated hitter, Chad Paddock, takes a strike in there. Count is full, 3-2.
I think we should say that Rizzo does the hockey games for Adrian.
High chopper to Wong for out number 2. Close play at first. But Wyman continues to cruise through this Bulldog lineup.
Like I was saying, he does the play-by-play for hockey games here on ACTV, so I think for payback, either you, Robbie, or myself will have to go on one of his broadcasts. He'll ask us some hockey stats because we know nothing about hockey.
Well, I ran the board for the hockey games, and I know there were quite a few instances where I had to ask him what was going on because I was a little lost. By the end of the season, I started to get it, but I think it's safe to say baseball is my sport. As McMahon fouls that one just out of play on the third base side of the field, 1-1. I also think it's safe to say that Nick Rizzo will not be joining his cousin in the major leagues anytime soon.
Rizzo saying he can't hit a baseball, let alone a softball, let alone a baseball. Robbie, it looks like that hill's getting a little more saturated out there with fans.
Might have to do another count at the end of this inning, which is going to be right now. Wyman strikes out Justin McMahon. The Bulldogs once again go 1-2-3s. We'll head to the top of the 6th inning. Still a scoreless game. We'll be back with more MIAA baseball action between Adrian College and Albion College. Keep it tuned right here to your home for Adrian College Athletics. This is ACTV. Welcome back to Nicolay Field here on Couch Day. Game number 1 between the Albion College Britons and your Adrian College Bulldogs. Tommy Parsons is back to work in what has become a pitching duel between himself and Jack Wyman. That's the first baseman, James Spilko, will dig in to start the top of the 6th inning, and he'll take a bender in there for strike 1.
Parsons ended the 5th on a strikeout of Wyman for his 10th of the day. That's his 5th game this year where he's had double-digit strikeouts.
And he'll go fishing for that one, but can't connect. 0-2. Albion 6 hits on the afternoon, but has stranded every one of them. Also have a walk. That was by the third baseman, Cameron Dornwood. Spilko takes that one outside, 1-2. Pitch from Parsons. That one sails outside, 2-2. The 2-2. That one flared into left field. Rainey, a few steps in and will make the catch for out number 1. Up now is the second baseman, Kevin Wong. 1 for 2 so far today. Tripled his first time up. A ground out to the shortstop, Sean O'Keefe, his last time up. First offering from Parsons. Curveball in there for strike 1. Fans still flooding in out on the hill. Did not count between innings, but I think it's safe to say up to 150 as Wong can't connect with that curveball. Quickly in the hole now, 0-2.
Well, I can hear a little music coming from that way. It'll just be a question. I think more of a question of how they're going to be in the next game.
Another chair tossed by Parsons, but a wild throw by Resto. And Wong will be aboard on the strikeout. First error of the game by either side.
Yeah, Frankie got a little lazy there. Didn't clear himself from Wong running down the line. Instead, tried to just throw it over top of the runner. And that's never what you want to do as a catcher. Luckily, Wood was there backing up the play and kept it from going into right for possibly 2 bases.
So minimal damage, but still now with the Dogs 1, instead of 2 outs with nobody on, they now have a runner on first with only 1 out. It was a rare error for Frankie Resto. Still strikeout 11 for Parsons on the day. His second pitch, fastball strike to the third baseman, Cameron Dornwood. One ball, 1 strike. The pitch. Fly ball into right field. Richardson taking a few steps back. He'll make the catch. Wong was off for second base, but he'll have to go back. There are now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Up now is the left fielder, Colton Rydlewski. 2 Ks today, both of them swinging. Instead of Rydlewski, it's a pinch hitter for Albion. That's number 17, Andrew Arsulowski. I completely butchered that. There's a reason. There's a reason that Coach Carden gave us a pronunciation guide.
Arsulowicz.
Arsulowicz. We'll have to remember that one.
A lot of interesting names on this Albion roster.
So it's number 17, Andrew Arsulowicz, a freshman, pinch hitting here with 2 outs. Take a first pitch fastball for a strike. A 1 pitch from Parsons. Fouls that one back. Quickly in the hole now, 0-2.
Arsulowicz 22 for 70 on the year. That's good for a .314 batting average. Has driven in 16 runs. Has 1 home run, 3 doubles, and 2 triples. So a good hitter here at the plate.
Instead, he'll have the chair tossed to him by Parsons, number 12 on the afternoon. And despite the error, Albion again leaves a runner stranded. Bulldogs will see if they can finally get their bats alive as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, still 0-0. We'll see how this one plays out. Keep it tuned right here to more MIAA baseball action on ACTV. Bottom of the 6th inning here in game number 1 between Albion and Adrian, still scoreless. Catcher Frankie Resto up to bat, trying to crack Jack Wyman. It's a new left fielder for Albion. It's number 37, Luke Bottomley, as Frankie hits a fly ball into center field, spikes the bat in frustration, and into the glove with the aforementioned Bottomley for strike one. Out one, excuse me. It's number 9 hitter Sean O'Keefe up to bat. Struck out looking his first time up. It's a strike, 0-1.
Wyman, as I've said, doing a nice job of working both sides of the plate.
O'Keefe not able to hold up there as first base umpire Corey Ray says that he crossed the plane.
Mixing in fastballs more than Parsons, but a lot of off-speed pitch again right there. That got O'Keefe. So although he came in with not the greatest numbers on the mound, he is definitely showing the stuff he is capable of having on any day.
So 2 quick outs here on the Bulldogs. We'll head back to the top of their order. It's center fielder Zach Schering. 1 for 2 so far today, a single and a strikeout. First pitch misses low and outside for ball 1.
And Wyman going from the stretch the entire game. Which is not something you often see from a starter.
Especially at the college level.
It's definitely working for him. Simplifies his mechanics, takes out a couple of steps that really aren't necessary. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if that accounted for his early season woes, but whatever he's doing today is definitely working.
He throws a ball low to Schering. Will fall behind 3 balls, 1 strike. There's a ground ball. Turnbull will scoop it up. Long throw, but will get him at first base for out number 3. So the Bulldogs go down in order once again. We'll head to the last scheduled inning. Still scoreless. See how it turns out. Don't you touch that mouse. We'll be right back with more baseball here on ACTV. real estate out on the center field hill, becoming as scarce as the runs in this game. Still scoreless as we begin the top of the 7th inning here in game number 1 between Adrian College and the Albion Britons. First pitch from Tommy Parsons. Big cut there. He can't connect. That's the shortstop, Joe Turnbull. 8-9-1 due up.
Turnbull, 2 strikeouts and 2 at-bats so far today. Parsons has 12 of those on the day.
There's a curveball, and all he'll do is watch it go by for strike number 2. Payoff pitch from Tommy Parsons. Just a smidge low as Frankie will have to drop down to his knees, 1-2. One-two pitch to Turnbull. Ground ball, O'Keefe pounces on it, will make the throw on the run for out number 1. Bring up the number 9 hitter, Matt Burr. 1 for 2 today so far. Singled his last time up, also struck out looking back in the 3rd inning. Looking to crack this Tommy Parsons code. He already has 1 chair today. I don't think he wants to buy another. Able to hold up on that high fastball for ball 1. Another fastball high. This one rides inside again. 2-0. There's a line drive into center field. Sharon giving chase, and a nice running catch as he'll go to the center field wall. That will earn him a round of applause from the crowd out at center field, and it's a long out number 2 for the Britons.
It's a hard line drive right at him. And the line drive right at an outfield, usually the hardest one to catch, a little bit of a late break, but with his speed able to get back in time. Turnbull Burr putting a charge into that one.
So 2 down now. We'll head back to the top of the Albion order. Center fielder Riley Stasiak. Bounce that one foul down the third base side. Stasiak 2 for 2 so far today. Singled in the 1st inning, a double back in the 3rd, and in the 5th he had a sacrifice bunt. So I think it's safe to say that if there's any batter that Parsons and the Bulldogs have to be careful with, it's Stasiak. Foul that one straight back, quickly in the hole now, 0-2. Six hits today so far for Albion. They're looking for number 7, the 0-2 pitch from Parsons. A curveball just misses low, says the home plate umpire, and it's 1-2. The pitch from Parsons. Ground ball foul down the third base side. Coach Carden getting riled by his team for not making that attempt.
A little too much heat for him. Carden in his 15th season with the Albion Britons.
Well, last night our high school alma mater, Lake Fenton, played a game here, and we saw their third base coach, former Bulldog Brad LaRue, try to take a ground ball right off the hand. Just like that one, into the glove of Frank Resto. Strikeout for Tommy Parsons, 13 on the day. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th inning here in game number 1 on Couch Day. See how loud the hill gets now that we're headed to not sudden death, but if the Bulldogs score, it will be. And with that, we'll head to a break. We'll be right back with more Bulldog baseball action on ACTV. Bottom of the 7th inning here. Game number 1 still scoreless. Wyman and Parsons going pitch for pitch. And it is now the time where the first one to crack will most likely get the loss, especially if the Bulldogs score here. Foul ball by the left fielder Gunnar Rainey, and he's quickly in the hole now, 0-2. Pitch from Wyman. Soft tapper on the left side. Dornwood charges, muffled a little bit, and can't get the throw off in time. Leadoff infield single for Gunnar Rainey. And the tension builds just a little more here at Nicolay Field.
Yeah, nice play on the slow chopper by Dornwood, but a little too quick with the transfer and the momentary bobble with Rainey's speed. Cost him the out.
I'll bring up the right fielder, Tristan Richardson. Struck out looking his first time up, but hit a long fly ball into left field last time. He shows bunt. He can't connect, and Richardson not happy with himself. It's 0-1. Now, we were talking about it in the break. How nuts would it be for not just a walk-off home run, but a walk-off home run into that large crowd on center field?
It'd be interesting to see if somebody would be able to catch it out there, but that would be something. It looks like Finney might have taken that bunt off a place with no padding, so.
Yeah, it was a foul ball attempt by Richardson. Finney in some definite pain right here as the trainer will come out. We'll get some water. He looks to be okay, just needs a quick breather. And Cody, you've taken those bad hits. Sometimes you just need a couple seconds to recompose yourself.
Especially the way they're laughing. I think it was in one particular area, so definitely will need a breather. Good to see he's going to stay in the game.
No balls, 1 strike on Tristan Richardson. Gunnar Rainey on first base, nobody out. Dornwood extremely close. He's about even with the mound right now. Pitch from Winewood, bunt right to Dornwood. He'll look at second and set go to first for out number 1. Rainey will move up to second base. The Bulldogs have a man in scoring position with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Excellent bunt by Richardson right down the third base line. And put it in a place, even with Dornwood playing in as far as he was, still wasn't able to get to the ball and try to get Rainey forced out at second. So that tells you how good of a bunt it was.
I'll bring up the first baseman, heavy hitting Hunter Hayes. Although there's no 4 waffles in a 3-way toaster, the master chef wants to swing the bat, but instead Albion will put him aboard to put the double play in force and take one of the Bulldogs' best hitters out of contention.
Now in the MLB, they have the automatic free pass now, but college rules, you still have to throw 4.
There's number 3, Rainey, getting some good secondary leads at second base just in case something happens.
Well, we saw Hayes last week go and actually steal third on a intentional walk.
Instead, all 4 right into the glove of the catcher, Finney. Bulldogs now have runners on first and second, 1 out. Second baseman Brady Wood will dig into the right-hander's batter's box. 0 for 2 so far. A hit right here would be a great thing.
I think anything on the right side would score Rainey.
Thunder stays high for ball 1. Coach Cardin's going to call timeout. First time today really that Wyman's seen A little bit of stress in his pitches. Pretty much cruised through the first 6 innings. Have given up a couple of base runners thus far, but this is the first time he's thrown high-pressure pitches today.
Yeah, and we'll have to pay attention. If you look out in left field, Robbie, Bottomley's actually playing fairly deep for the situation. A ground ball through the left side, you think you'd want to have him play in, because anything slow, Rainey's going to score. He has the speed. Instead, he's playing no doubles depth, which I don't know. What do you think about that?
Didn't have my microphone turned on. I was getting some information from SID Director Patrick Stewart. What was the question?
Because they have Bottomley played pretty deep in left field. You think they'd want him to play a little more in, because if Wood sneaks one through the left side, Gunner's definitely going to score.
I think that if that's the case, Wyman will probably pound that outer half of the plate and force him to maybe try to hit one to the right side into the double play shift. That one's a flare into the gap. Burr has it tracked. He'll make the catch. Rainey will hold at second base. The strategy pays off, at least for the moment. 2 outs now. Runners on first and second. Stepping into the batter's box, designated hitter Chad Paddock. 0 for 2 today so far. Wyman taking his time out on the mound. The first pitch. Bender in there for a strike. Just hits the inner black. The 0-1 pitch. Outside in the turf. Rainey thought about it, but he'll retreat. It's 1-1. Should Paddock keep this inning alive? It's the third baseman, Justin McMahon, who's on the on-deck circle. 1-1 pitch from Wyman. Another bender in there, and Paddock can't pull the trigger. It's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, still scoreless. Bottom of the 7th, the pitch. Outside, 2-2.
We'll see if Wyman goes inside with a hard fastball here, with Paddock kind of leading out over the plate on that last pitch.
The soft tapper down the third base line, but that's going to stay foul. Count stays 2-2. Pitch from Wyman. There's a line drive into left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Rainey hits the bag, headed for home. The throw from Bottomley, not in time. It's a walk-off winner here on Couch Day for game number 1, and the Bulldogs take it by a score of 1-0.
First mistake really of the day for Wyman, just a hanging breaking ball right over the heart of the plate, and Paddock does exactly what he needs to do, punches it out into left field, and with 2 outs, Rainey scores easily. Great win for the Bulldogs here in game 1.
That's exactly what the crowd on the hill wanted to see. And Albion a crushing defeat to start this Saturday afternoon doubleheader. As soon as that ball hit the outfield, Rainey knew that he was going to score, and a beautiful head-first slide, not needed, but some extra style points there.
Just a nice win. Scoreless through 6, just a intense pitcher's battle. But the Adrian Bulldogs able to just tough out another win.
Well, that is the end of game number 1 here on Couch Day. Bulldogs take it by a score of 1-0. Pitching battle for the ages. This is a game that we'll come back to, and once again we see why Tommy Parsons is the master carpenter.
13 strikeouts on the day. That was a season high. Gave up 6 hits, but worked out of a lot of tough situations. Had runners on third a couple times with no outs and able to work out of both of those.
And we'll see how the Britons respond and how Adrian takes this momentum into game number 2, but out of breath right now. What a win for the Bulldogs, and really enough can't be said for Tommy Parsons and how dominant he has been. So we'll take a quick break. Game number 2 coming up probably in about 20 minutes to half an hour. That will be on a new link. If you stay on the Adrian Bulldog YouTube channel, you'll find it there. Me and Cody actually have to take off for a band concert. We will not be on the call for game number 2. We'll have newcomers Tyler Simmons and Mason Hostetler. They'll be on the call, so give them a chance to get their baseball calling practice in. It's their debut, so I think they'll do a good job. We hope you enjoy it. We also will not be here for the Trine Series. That will be most likely on ACTV2. Links will come out next week, but our sister is graduating, and it's been 6 years in the making, so we sure are not going to miss that. So we'll be there. So until the next time, this has been Robbie Alexander with my colleague Cody Alexander. Happy Couch Day to everyone. Also, our producer Nick Rizzo. We hope you enjoy game number 2 and keep the Couch Day festivities going. As always, keep it tuned to your home for Adrian College Athletics and Bulldog Baseball. This is ACTV.